Hi, I want to give you a little mini lesson in neurology. I'm going to tell you what is going on in your brain based on what age you are. There are three stages, and there's a lot going on in your brain in those three stages. So if you're any one of those ages, you'll be interested in this, but even if you're not, it'll still be interesting because you're going to know what's to come, or you're going to understand better what happened to you during those years that you may not even remember. There are two things you need to know that are happening to your brain. Number one is something called pruning. And think of like when you prune a tree, you cut off branches. That's exactly what's happening inside your brain starting around adolescence to high school. Your brain has developed these synapses, which are like connections. They connect to each other and they create memories. And when you're learning how to do something, they connect to each other. So they're really important parts of who you are and how you think. And during certain periods of time in your life, when you're young, your brain is pruning itself and it's getting rid of some of those connections that you didn't end up connecting to something else. So you're going to forget a lot of your childhood. So if somebody asks you, what was your Christmas like at 4 years old or something, you're going to be like, I have no idea. I don't remember. The next thing that's happening that really shows up around middle school into high school is a part of your brain that becomes very aware of what other people think of you or how other people are seeing you. That gets more developed. And so that's why, like when you were little and you were wearing tutus with, Spider-Man mask on or whatever, and twirling around and singing a song, and you didn't care what other people thought of you, that's because your brain wasn't developing that hyper awareness, unless you had some trauma. That's a different story. But usually we did not have that hyper awareness of what other people were looking at you about and judging you. And as you get older, you become much more aware of that ability to see yourself through other people's eyes and think that you're being judged by them or afraid that you'll be judged by them. So we become much more self-conscious and much more wanting to please other people or be liked by other people. So those are two major things to look at in these videos. And I want to give credit to our content creators, Ren and Raina, for their artwork that they did in making these videos. I hope you like them.
Your brain before and after middle school. Brains are weird. From middle school to high school, the brain cuts away unused connections, making it more efficient. This process is called synaptic pruning. Pruning makes our brains more efficient, and this helps develop our prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is getting better at decision making, planning, and impulse control. But first, you'll feel stress more because the brain isn't fully equipped to handle big emotions yet. Also, your brain becomes more aware of how others see you and could lead to risky choices to fit in or just to temporarily feel good. As you move from middle school to high school, your brain will start letting go of old memories while making you more aware of your emotions. You'll become more self-conscious about what others think and may take risks to fit in or handle stress, which you're now more sensitive to. It's all a normal part of your brain's growth and development. Know yourself.
As we make the transition from high school to college, our brain continues to mature. There is further pruning and strengthening of essential connections, especially in the prefrontal cortex. This maturation leads to improved decision making and impulse control, though emotional regulation is still a work in progress. There's also more focus on identity formation and understanding your role in larger social contexts. At this age, your brain is going through a lot of change. It will continue to mature until you're about 25, but you've got a lifetime to learn new skills and get to know yourself. Between college and the mid 20s, the prefrontal cortex becomes fully developed. This leads to better planning, emotional regulation, and long term thinking. Young adults get better at navigating complex social situations, focusing less on peer approval and more on forming deeper relationships. There is now more goal oriented thinking as the brain's reward system shifts to value long term success over immediate gratification. This period of time is full of changes as the brain finally finishes development, and the brain gets more efficient, and you become better at navigating all of life's challenges and triumphs.